What's up everyone? Welcome to Investing with Adam. I'm your host Adam, and today I want to talk to you a bit about what it might look like if you were to purchase one of three different types of properties. And the reason I want to do this is I know there's a lot of confusion about maybe what it looks like to buy a home, what it might cost you, or, oh man, there's no way I could ever buy a house, it's way too expensive. This video is meant to give you a little bit more clarity and a little more knowledge on exactly what it might look like to buy a house. Either that might be a condo, might be a townhouse, might be a house. This gives you a bit of an idea as to what all the costs may be on owning one of these homes. Now keep in mind, this is just an example, and every property out there is going to vary somewhat on the utility price, on the mortgage, on the taxes, whatever that might be. If the interest rates slide, all that kind of stuff, it starts to change the pricing. So this is just an example of right now, today, of three different properties that are currently on the market as this video is being recorded. Now on these three properties, I'm going to use the same type of mortgage numbers, and those mortgage numbers are a 25-year amortization period, a 5-year fixed term mortgage at 2.7% interest, and I'm going to calculate all the mortgage numbers, the payments, based off of what the actual purchase price is. So at $150,000, the mortgage is going to be calculated at $150,000 mortgage. Now that being said, if you chose to buy a property like one of these, or when you do decide to buy a home, keep in mind that you generally need some sort of down payment, and that number is usually about a 5% down payment minimum. First unit I want to talk to you guys about is the apartment style condo. And this particular property is located in the neighborhood of McConaughey. It's a 2013 build, 754 square feet, main floor unit on a 4-story building. It's got 2 bedrooms, 1 full bathroom, and it has 1 outdoor parking stall. And the cost to own this property are as follows. The mortgage payment is about $690 a month. The land taxes are about $105. The condo fees are $260. The insurance is going to be roughly $75 a month, and the utilities are going to be estimated around $150 a month, which brings the grand total of this unit to own it every month to be about $1,280, which when you compare that to the average rent for a 2-bedroom property, that's really not looking all that bad. And that's property number 1. On to property number 2, the 2-story townhouse. This property is located in the neighborhood of Matt Berry. It's a 2005 build. It's a 2-story unit, about 1,328 square feet, fully finished. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1 being a 4-piece ensuite off the master, and 2 half baths. As I mentioned, it's got a fully finished basement, and it also has a single attached garage. The cost to own this property are as follows. Mortgage on this one is about $1,150 a month. Taxes are going to run you about $215. Condo fees $183. Insurance approximately $100, and utilities estimated around $250 a month. Now that brings this property's total costs every month to about just shy of $1,900 a month, which again isn't obscenely bad, but that's the townhouse. Moving on. Our final example is the detached single-family home. This property is located in the neighborhood of Brintnell. It is a 2008 build. It's a 2-story detached single-family home, means you share 0 walls with neighbors and you have 0 condo fees. It's 1,268 square feet-ish. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. This one is also fully finished. It's got a 4-piece ensuite and a double detached garage out back. The cost to own this home are as follows. The mortgage is approximately $1,605 at the $350,000 price. Taxes on this one, $245 a month. 0 condo fees, as I mentioned, because this is a single-family home. Insurance, approximately $125 a month. Utilities, we're estimating around $350. And that brings you to a grand total to own this single-family detached home at just around $2,325 per month. Now, something to keep in mind with these 3 properties is the final one I mentioned, which is this one, is a single-family home, which means it has no condo fees, which means you're required to pay for all the maintenance to the home. If the siding needs to be fixed, if the roof needs to be done, if it needs windows, that's all stuff that is on you as the homeowner. So what I suggest is when you do buy a house like this, to set up some sort of savings on the side for the home, maybe at 5 to 10% of the annual cost of the property, setting that aside in a savings account for if the furnace goes or if there's some sort of larger expenditures on the home that you weren't expecting, at least you're building a consistent flow of cash up front in a savings account so that when those things come due, you can cover either all of it or at least part of that amount out of your savings and then maybe borrow or use credit for the rest. That's how single family homes work. Now with the condo buildings or the condo units that I discussed earlier, they have something what's called a condo board or management company, which is in, I'd say about 98% of all units out there. And what that means is there's a number of people or a company that's responsible for managing that property. And with that usually comes something called bylaws. And bylaws are things that are set forth that all owners and all occupants of the properties or the units are required to abide by. So if there's a pet restriction, meaning you can't have a pet taller than 6 inches, a dog or whatever it is, you have to listen to that. So you're not allowed to have pets or whatever it is to that building. They're not all like that. Some have more relaxed bylaws, some have more strict bylaws. It really depends on where you're buying. And on top of that, the condo fees you pay cover things like your exterior maintenance, your common areas, your insurance for the building or for the entire property, the landscaping, snow removal, a reserve fund float, which just covers all the actual exterior maintenance as it needs to be done and the repair work. All those things are usually included in the condo fees, but if those aren't accounted for properly or if something goes sooner than it was supposed to, so say it's a 30-year roof and they've factored in that into the condo fees that it'd be lasting for 30 years, then they replace it. If that roof goes at 20 years, that's 10 years sooner than they budgeted. So if the condo float is not going to pay for that or doesn't have enough money in it to pay for it, the reserve fund, you would then end up having to pay for part of that as the homeowner in one of those units. And what that's called is a special assessment. And that could be something as small as $50 per owner, or it could go up to be as high as $10,000 or more, depending on the severity of the repairs or the damage to the building. So yes, the condo can be quite enjoyable in the fact that you don't have a lot of maintenance you have to do, especially in the apartment style. You just walk out your front door, everything's taken care of, get in your car, go to work, come home, no issues. That's great that way, but if something's not accounted for correctly, you could get hit with a fairly large bill. On the other side of that, if you own a single family home, you're completely free and clear, the property's yours, but on top of that, you have snow removal, you have landscaping. If the property needs any sort of work at all, anything within that property line, that is your responsibility that you have to pay for. So even though you don't have a condo fee, I would highly suggest getting some sort of savings plan to cover some of these expenses as they come up so you're not blindsided and have no cash to pay for it. So that is the 3 basic types of properties you're going to be looking at as a home buyer in the city of Edmonton. Now there's other different types out there, but to avoid any kind of confusion, I just gave you the 3 basic property types you're most likely to come across when you start shopping for a home. And of course, if you have any other questions or if you want more information or if you want to know exactly what properties I was talking about, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Happy to share that information with you or just give you a bit more insight as to what to be looking at when you actually go to buy and give you a bit more clarity and information. If you like the video, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share it with anyone that you might think that could be interested in buying a house anytime soon, or just curious about what it looks like to be a home buyer. That's it for me for today. Hope you're having an awesome day, and I will catch you on the next one.